Roosters are languishing in 16th position. Buzz, what is happening at the Chooks?
Well, there's going to be some major selection news in that Chad Townsend is going to be dropped from the side.
Oh, really?
For this weekend. I put a stat in the paper last week, no runs, no metres. And he was disappointing again on the weekend. And look, he's a cheap halfback who they brought in as a stopgap, but he hasn't aimed up. There's one really telling statistic. The Roosters have not scored one try from a kick this year. Not one try. Wow. Now, to give you an idea, 19% of tries scored in the game come from kicks. The Broncos have scored 33% of their tries this year from the boot of Adam Reynolds. And without Sam Walker, who is one of those beautiful players, you know, close to the line, grubbers, chips, bombs, the Roosters have got nothing, not one try. They've scored 19. It's all been hands on the football. Yeah. And so I'm told Hugo Savala will play this week, who played against Penrith. He's a bookies bagman at Randwick Races at the championship, so he might have to have the afternoon off there.
His dad's a bookie.
Yeah, he's a local boy.
6'4". We've seen him play. He's played a couple of games.
I noticed him in that Penrith game where he came on basically as a back rower, just to fill a role at the end of the game. He's a big boy.
There's another change there, Braith.
Yep.
I'm told Dom Young is facing the chop. Probably misread Latrell pass. What do you?
Dom's been a bit out of form. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I think he needs to probably have a bit of a breather and freshen up. And a few poor reads and under the high ball, he's been a little bit sus. I think he's got some work to do there, Dom, to get himself back to his best. He's great in open space and he's a good finisher, but he got a few things wrong on the weekend, and he has the past month. So
now driving over here this afternoon, I practiced his pronunciation. Nawanga Ti Nawazi.
No. Nawanga Nitawase.
Oh, right, no. I'm not going to try again, but he's back this
That's
week.
a good idea.
And they want to keep Billy Smith in the centre, so they'll probably play Mark on the wing. So.
Now, quickly on Townsend, he wasn't brought to the club to be a starting half. He really was a stopgap, right?
Yeah.
So it's been hard. It's hard for him to come in and then all of a sudden you're the chief playmaker.
Yeah. Well, he was brought in to back up Sam Walker and Sandon Smith, but then Sam Walker, after he was signed, Sam Walker's knee went. So he's probably been forced into action before they expected. He's probably been used more than they expected him to be used, but that's not to excuse his form. I mean, he hasn't been good, Chad, through the opening 5 weeks. Let's be honest about it. But I feel a bit sorry for the club in the sense that they've had to rely on him more than they thought they would have to.
Yeah.
And they've made a lot of mistakes, the Chooks, which is unusual for. We're going to get in. I don't want to jump the run sheet, but
no, get into it. What are the mistakes?
What I want to say to start off with, I have that much respect for Nick Politis and Trent Robinson, who together have won 3 premierships in 14 years. But there's been some horrible recruitment there, and I'm starting to. This is an academy club that allegedly brings young players through. You know, they had Jacob Preston there in SG Ball.
They had Jacob Preston there?
They had Jacob Preston.
Was he in their system?
They wouldn't give him the development. And that wasn't Robbo's or Nick's call. It was their recruitment people.
Okay.
But Jacob Preston... He was a Manly junior. You're going to have a go at Manly for letting him go as well?
He played SG Ball.
He's a Manly junior, Belrose junior. Lives on the Northern Beaches.
Well, I don't know how he finished up at the Roosters, but he was there on the eve of an NRL career.
Okay.
Ethan Strange, we rate him. I love
him.
Another boy who was in the Roosters system. Didn't hang on to him.
Every club loses players, though. Yes. That happens at every club. You can go through every club and you could find 2 or 3 blokes that they've lost over the years that come back to haunt you. Every club occasionally gets one wrong.
Well,
or 2
start
wrong.
giving me some examples.
Well,
you've just spoke. Well, you've just come hold on. You've just put crap on my argument where I'm trying to... You have. No, every club. Well, name some.
Well, Dully Evans isn't from Manly. He's from Queensland.
Oh, thanks,
He's a Brisbane bloke. Well, there's one for you. Is it not?
As I said, the Roosters recruit... We've got to be fair dinkum here. It hasn't been great. I don't think we've still had a reasonable explanation for the departure of Terrell May. Do you agree?
I agree with you, Buzz. I'm not disagreeing with you tonight.
No, well, do you agree?
No, I do agree.
They gave an explanation. It was a cultural issue. They explained that. Well, Tupanua left because they were in the midst of signing Dave Fafita.
Which is the big problem, really. It's the big fish that they haven't been able to land for the last couple of years. That exacerbates the whole thing.
Yeah, Buzz is not far off the mark in a lot of ways, and we've spoken about it quite a bit. You know, for the first time in a long time, the Roosters have got their recruitment wrong in a number of areas, you know. And we go back to Brandon Smith, and we go back to letting certain players go. And, you know, I'm a Roosters fan, and everyone knows how close I am to Nick, but we sit here, we've got to tell it how we see it. They have got it wrong.
Braith.
I know.
What's happening is
even the Chad Townsend, just quickly on that. And Chaddy was on the show and he's a champion bloke and he's been a champion player. But when they bought him, it was like, why? And I don't even care if he's a backup. Use one of your younger kids coming through. He was, Chad, you know, I'm not surprised. Is anyone surprised with what's happened there, the way he's performed this year? You know, and was anyone surprised with what happened to Brandon Smith? I wasn't. You know, like, you know,
they did think they had Ben Hunt. They thought they had Ben Hunt.
I was surprised by Brandon Smith, Braith. I mean, he was.
But that doesn't
surprise me. Talking about a really good footballer left Melbourne.
Yeah, but he wasn't a 9. In my opinion.
We kept rattling off names they don't get.
He wasn't what they needed. He wasn't what they were specifically wanted.
You're talking about the names they keep missing out on. There was a period, 10, 15, 20 years, they didn't miss out on anyone. If the Roosters wanted someone, and that's where the sombrero joke started. Now, there are more misses than hits at the moment. That's the big concern.
Yeah. Well, DCE might change that, guys. But not that they're giving anything away.
That's big, you know, because everyone's saying he's going there, and off the back of your point there, will this be the one they do land, that big fish? Robson's a great buy too. What about Walker? He's going to set for his return. When does he return?
Well, I think it's around July. But I mean, if their season's over by come July, August, I'm not sure. Why would you risk him? What? Why would you let him have the rest of the year off, get him right for 2026?
Well, hang on. When's he supposed to return?
I think it's around July, isn't it?
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. So you're saying... saying... Wow. Yeah, it is.
Can I throw the right bow on top of this?
Oh, here we go. Mate, I'm saying they're out of finals contention.
Mate, he's $1 million halfback and they've got to finish the season, even if they're out of finals contention, with some respect and a decent position on the ladder.
Okay, put your halfback at risk.
How do you put him at risk? They won't bring him back.
How do you know?
Sorry for...
Let's be honest,
sorry. Hey, you know what? Sorry for having an opinion, Braith.
You think by then they're going to be out of...
Yes. Well, you think they'll still be in contention come July?
You think they'll be a write-off by then? Complete write-off?
Yes.
That's what you're thinking.
Do you think come July they'll be in finals contention?
So, irrelevant to that...
No, that's what you're asking me. That's what I'm telling you.
I wouldn't say they're going to be completely out of it, no. I think they'll
be 1-7 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
1-6.
So what do you do?
How are they still in finals for 1-6? You think they're still going to be in finals contention come July?
You know what, Reedy? I don't really care if they're out of finals contention.
Well, that's a different
point. I'm still playing Walker. Okay. I'm still playing
and
Walker.
you go to your members and say...
You go to your
members, and you go to your sponsors.
You go to your members and say, hey, guys,
our best player, we haven't scored a try.
And you also think they should let Brandon Smith go too early.
Well, why wouldn't you?
So hang on.
Why would you keep Brandon Smith around?
Two of your best players in your team for the rest of the year.
You just bagged Brandon. You just said Brandon's not a good fit for the club. You just said that 2 minutes ago.
He's not a 9, he's a 13.
Okay, well, they've got enough back rowers.
But if he's available, I'm playing him. Are you?
No, I'm saying South, if my season's over...
So if they both come back with 9 rounds to play and they get Smith and Walker back and win 8 out of their last 9, what happens then?
Well, it may not matter the way they're going, Braith.
Yeah, but mate, what do you mean?
They might be going,
If they win 8 out of 9 games, they've won enough probably to be on the edge of the 8.
Edge of the 8?
To make the 8.
Got them in the 8?
To press the 8?
Well, probably not, no.
Are you Nostradamus?
Mate, they're 1-6 in 2 weeks.
Do you know what's going to happen the next month?
This is it's a waste of time arguing. It's so bleeding. No, it is. It's so bleeding obvious.
Yeah, I'm writing off, yeah. Are you saying they're a chance of making the finals?
With those 2 players, maybe. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm not going to rest them or throw one of them away and not play my best player.
Mate, what if South's willing to take Brandon and you can save yourself $300,000 in the salary cap, right? Yeah. Why would you keep him? And your season's over.
In the top
why would
4,
you keep him round?
You hate them, but here's a chance of winning a comp even more.
Because you get something out of it, though.
I think
what do you get?
Nick's not going to worry about that.
Season anyway. The Roosters have a responsibility to
you can pay money forward and use it the next year.
The Roosters have a responsibility to the game to put their best side in the park, and I've explained they can't score a try from a kick. Sam Walker is $1 million player. To suggest they should rest him is outrageously silly. And I'm being kind to you.
Okay, fair enough then.
Yeah, it is, Reedy. You've got to play.
Thanks, boss.